Hey, Sean here, Green Irish Jeep, and I am finally getting some brackets for my Ursa Minor because check what just showed up on my front door. In a little package here are these brackets. I have been waiting for these things for months, and so I'm gonna figure out how to put them on the JL. As you can see, we got 4 brackets here, and it came with a little bag full of some washers and bolts and some lock nuts here. These are the spacers that you put on there. And there was no instructions with this, but I was told that the slot part goes up, which is good to know. And this thing just lines up perfectly like that. And these look to be about a 7/16, so, or 11 mils either way. So that's going to be what I'm going to be using. One of the things that John said they did when they put out the version of the Ursa Minor for the JL, one of the improvements was specifically to handle the problem of putting things through this firewall here, because in the JK version, the only way to do it is to get the top off. You'd have to take the top off to get in there. So when they built the JL, he was showing me that they installed these panels on the inside here. So if you can look up by the roll cage, there's these bolts, and you can remove this panel, which will allow you to reach the other side of the Jeep without having to take the whole camper top off, which is a good thing. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. Okay. I guess that just moves out like this, and then we can peel this back, and sure enough, look at that, there's those holes. When you're trying to access the bolts from the inside of the JL, the Ursa Minor panel here, it's kind of like an L-shaped looking thing. There's one bolt that you got to get into the passenger side to remove, to kind of free it up here. You don't need to remove this panel here, but the panel that goes into the back of the Jeep has one bolt here, so there's like 5 bolts total. So you just need to remove the ones that are in the back of the Jeep, and then the one that's right here in the passenger area behind the driver's seat, and that'll give you access to the back 2 panels here to put these blocks on. When you go to do the mounting points for the bracket at the front, there's no panel up there because it's already hidden under the roll cage, and so there's nothing to remove. One of the things that John said to me is to get these filler bolts, these plastic things that he stuck in here after drilling the holes, was just go ahead and knock them in with a hammer and a screwdriver, and then put the real bolts in. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so I sort of want to pull them out. So what I did on the first one here is I went ahead and I kind of knocked them a couple times from the inside with my hammer, and I was able to just slip it right out. So I don't know why that felt better to slip that plastic thing out of there instead of just bash it through with a hammer, but anyway, it worked out so far. You know, I just realized I had the perfect tool for pulling these things out. I recently put one of those tailgate tables in, and I had to get one of these trim remover tools, and I will bet you that this thing, oh yeah, look at that. What? Sweet. Huh. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. When they made the holes in this bracket, they made them with almost no tolerance. These bolts do not just push through these things, they will not fall out. I had to kind of use a drill to get them to go flush, so that is some precision engineering. I got the 2 bolts in the bottom here. We're just going to grab one of these things, and it just fits right in there, which is great. Looks good. Let's stick it on the outside. Come up here. One-handed, just pops right on. That's pretty cool. All right, come from the inside, and there's the bolts there. So I'll just throw those washers and the nuts on there, and we'll have my first bracket. Just do the others. You can't really go in there and tighten it because the screw will slip around. So you got to have something on this side and something on the other side. So in the back, you just go through the tailgate. For this part, I'm just going through the passenger. I just got my wrench here. I'm going to put that in there and use a little drill. So here we go. All right. I gotta admit, the brackets for the Ursa were a real mystery to me. They weren't for sale for a while on the site, and I just didn't know what the parts were. And these spacers here, and this and then some nuts and bolts are what come in the kit. One of the things that I realized, John explained to me when I was asking, looking at the Ursa, you would think that the blocks they put on the top are not actually lined up, but they are. The indentations and the extrusions, they're actually the same distance. They're completely parallel. So even when you've got these ones that are sticking out like that, or you've got the indentation ones like that, that's actually, those two surfaces are exactly parallel. They stick out just as far from the Jeep. And so the spacers, when you put them on, just move it out, your awning brackets far enough that you can still open your top without creating any problems. So I gotta admit, this is the part that was worrying me. This particular positioning for the bracket is right where this pillar is, and if any of you have tried to reach your hand in here, there is not much room. I can't get my hand in there. I don't have really big hands, but it is really narrow. And so the back of this bracket here, it's just a really narrow space. But I was able to pop out these bolts without any trouble. It's about 1 inch wide, so you can get a wrench in there, and it shouldn't be an issue. That was the thing. I was like, do I have to take this top off to get to this one behind this pillar? And the answer appears to be no. So let's find out. I've got my headlamp on here. Hopefully you guys will be able to see this, because as you can see, this opening here is just a little wider than my finger. So I'm gonna have to figure something out, because I definitely don't want to be dropping a bolt into there and losing it. So let's see what I can do. Well, necessity is the mother of invention, so just put a little tape on here and kind of hold this in place, and that's what's gonna let me get up there. Let's see how it goes. And there you have it. We got it on there. That's good. I just gotta tighten it. I would highly recommend, if you're gonna do this, getting an extra long 7/16 wrench. I did not have a sufficiently long one, so I've come up with another invention. Just duct tape that thing onto a ruler so that I can get up in here, because man, it's tight. Now luckily I don't have real big hands, so I can get my hand in here pretty well, at least up to my thumb, which is far enough to reach where the screws are coming through here. But if you have really big hands, you probably have to do the same thing I did with the pillar behind me there, and get some sort of thing here. But I think I can reach up in here with my hand, and yeah, just hang the washer on there and then start threading the bolt a little bit. Might just be a little tricky. There we go. Yeah, tricky.